Sandeep, CR of B section.
Sandeep ఇంకా minor లేదు sir.
CRs, you are supposed to respond. What are the questions which are raised by me? What are the topics that are discussed in the yesterday's class?
Sorting sir.
We started the topics that are sorting. And what is sorting? As far as the definition concerned, what is sorting?
Arranging the elements in a particular order.
Your voice is not audible to me. Arranging elements
Arranging the elements
in a ordered way, either ascending or descending. Any one of the option is supposed to be selected by us. Usually we go for practice like ascending only. So as it is practiced by you already when you people are in the elementary level or primary level. So up to 1 to 10, you people are about to. Hello? Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
So all you people are arranged from in the form of an ascending order only when you people are standing for a prayer. Okay. So the same kind of practices which we are going to do as part of sorting techniques. In this sorting, we are about to study 6 different sorting techniques. The first one is bubble, the second one is insertion, third selection, fourth merge, quick and radix. 6 different sorting techniques that are going to be practiced by us as far as the syllabus concerned. And there is one more topic, that is heap sort, that is not part of your syllabus. Okay. So as part of syllabus, we are going to study 6 different sorting techniques. Yesterday, did I started any sorting techniques? Any one of the explanation?
No sir.
Okay, then we'll come back to our class. Now I am going for screen sharing.
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Or is it visible to you? This presentation, bubble up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, bubbles are, this is the topic which we are going to discuss today. Sorting. Sorting takes an unordered collection and makes it an ordered one. That's what the definition part. So it takes an unordered collection and it makes it an ordered one by ascending or descending one. So this is the old list, like unsorted list. Might be all this slide is visible to everybody, no? Row number 91.
Sir.
This screen is visible to you.
Yes sir.
Everybody take a sheet of paper and note this particular one, 77, 42, 35. There are 6 different elements in the unsorted array. This is unsorted, no?
Sir.
So it is to be converted in the form of a sorted like this one. So this is in the sorted form. So how we are supposed to sort? How we are supposed to go for a sorted one from the unsorted one? That is the issue. And what is the sorting technique that we are going to take? Bubble sort. We will first draw these 2 diagrams. Both are completed.
Yes sir.
Yes,
Completed.
sir. Yes, sir. Completed.
Completed now. Okay, then I am going for next slide. So bubble up the largest element. That means traverse, and we are bubbling and placing the biggest element out of it to the last element position. So what is the biggest element out of 6 different elements here?
101, sir.
101, sir. 101.
101 is the
One,
biggest
sir.
element, and we are supposed to, where it is supposed to be placed, ఎక్కడ ఉండాలి? It is supposed to be placed
Last,
in the
last.
last element position. How many elements in an array? There are 6 different elements, and this is A0 position, A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. The element that is 101 is supposed to be placed at A5th position. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
అంతే కదా?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
what we are supposed to do is move from front to the end. What is front here? This is front. Okay. And bubble the largest value to the end using pairwise comparisons and swapping. So now these two are supposed to be compared in the first pass. These two in the sense the element at array 1 position and element at array 2nd position. So out of the we take these two elements and compare which is bigger.
77.
1 2 లో ఏది బిగ్గర్ ఉందయ్యా?
77.
1, sir.
Element
77.
is
77.
77 is bigger than
77.
42. Now what to do? We swap. That's what happens in the next screen. So swapping జరిగింది. It was happened. Can you identify swapped? These two, 1 and 2 are previously.
Yes, sir. Yes,
77
sir.
is placed here and 42 is placed here. Now 42 came here and 77 here. Did you observe the swapping?
Yes, sir.
How we swapped? We compared these two elements, and when A of 1 is bigger than A of 2, here A1 is bigger than A2, that means A1 is greater than A2, then simply go for swapping. This is what happened. Is it clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what to do? The second step. Now 77 here and 35 in first. Leave the first position. Okay. Now 77 is compared with 35. Which one is bigger?
77.
77 ultimately. Now what to do?
Swap.
Can we go for swapping?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Swapping అంటే తెలుసు కదా, positions మార్చడం అటు ఇటు. Okay. So now what to do? What will be the next step? 35 is supposed to come here and 77 will move to the position that is 3rd position. ఇక్కడ వరకు అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Number 94. Unmute yourself and tell me. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Number 6, C8. C8, the last number almost.
Sir.
Did you follow it up to here? What was explained?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then what will be the next one? Is there any swapping is supposed to be done? What is the next step? Now we compare 77 with
12.
12. What happens? 77 is greater. A of j is greater than A of j plus 1. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? We are supposed to go for swapping.
Right.
What will be the next position? What changes do you expect? C8. What changes do you expect?
12 come to 77.
Huh? గట్టిగా తప్పైనా చెప్పు, పర్వాలేదు.
77 plus 12.
So 77 is supposed to be go to item element array of 4th position, and 12
Yes, sir.
comes to
77 plus. Third position.
third position anu.
Third.
77 go to 4th position and 12 comes to 3rd position.
Third position.
See, observe this change. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now what happens to the next?
Fifth position come to 4th position.
So 77 goes to 5th position and 101 comes to
4th position.
పెరుగుతుందా? 4th position వస్తుందా?
Raj.
Is 77 is bigger
Yes.
than 101?
Yes, sir.
77 is bigger than 101?
No, sir.
No. Then the places are as it is.
No change.
No change in 4th pass.
Fourth
Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
In the 4th comparison, no need to swap. No need to
Swap.
swap. Then what happens to the next position? Then 101 remains here, 77 remains here. Then we are supposed to compare 101 with 5.
5.
So which is bigger?
101 is big.
101 is bigger. So what is the position? New position for 101?
6th position.
The last position. 6th position or the last
101.
position? Then
Yes, sir.
so everybody is clear about it. Who is the
sir.
last person? Like C9, the 129th person in the class. Did he attend it for today? About 95. Roll number 95. Unmute yourself and respond. Roll number 95. CR, Manikanta, Sandeep.
Sir.
95 comes under B section, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. B.
Note down his number and call him and ask him to make a call to me after 11, okay?
Okay,
Roll
sir.
number 95. So,
Okay, sir.
CR, first pass anta arthamainda? What are all the changes we are having already? So these are the changes: 42, 35, 12, 77, 5 and 101. Now what is the maximum number here? CR naluguru maatadandi. What is the maximum number?
101, sir.
101.
101, sir.
Where it was placed after first iteration? Where it was placed? Does it place its right position?
Yes, sir.
Right position lo kuchunda leda?
Yes, sir.
Now, is there any
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
any comparisons we need to have with this 6th 101 at the 6th position?
No, sir.
అవసరంలా మనకి. So we are supposed to compare.
No, sir.
We are supposed to
Yes, sir.
sort only the remaining 5 elements, not the 6th element. So anyway, 6th element, the biggest element, is placed at its right position. So we leave that one 101 there itself, and we are about to sort the remaining ones. Now, I want to share one more thing. Is it visible to you?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Wait. Now, is it visible to you? This word file.
Yes, sir.
So this is what 101 at its right position. So I left this one. Okay, remaining elements like 45, 35, 12, 77 and 5 are there. So what is the next step? In the next pass, we are supposed to compare 45 with 35. So which one is greater?
45.
45. Now is there any swapping is supposed to be needed?
Yes, sir.
So 35 comes here and 45 into the next step. So now 45 is compared with 12. What is the next position?
35, sir.
No.
35, sir.
Initially, so this is the after first pass. These are the elements we had. Okay, the element that is the maximum element, that is 101, is placed at its position, proper position. So we are supposed to start one more time the iteration. We are supposed to start one more time. Then we compared 45 with the 35. Which one is bigger?
45, sir.
45. So we performed swapping here. So 35 in the first position, and now 45 became second position. Now we compare between 45 with
Second
12.
position.
Second element with the
Third
third element. We compared first and 2. So this is the result. Now
12.
we are comparing second with third. ఇప్పుడు ఏం జరుగుతుంది?
swapping.
ఇక్కడ ఏమొస్తుంది
45.
45 వస్తుంది.
స్వాపింగ్ జరుగుతుంది సార్.
12.
12. Okay, instead of
12,
that, I draw like this.
12
in the first second iteration, 12 come here and 45 come here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now 45 compared with
sir.
77.
77.
77 sir.
So, is there any swapping?
No, sir.
No swapping. So 77
No,
remains
sir.
at fourth position. Now compare 77 with 5.
Same.
Same.
Swapping, sir.
Swapping. Swapping, sir. Swapping, sir.
Yeah. So which one is bigger? 77 is bigger or 5 is bigger?
Sir, swapping అని చెప్పాను సార్.
Swapping ane చెప్తున్నావా? Okay, good then. So 5 comes here.
77, sir.
77 comes here. Already this particular element is sorted. Ante 101 already here. No. Is there any comparison needed? Even though if you go for a comparison, do you expect any swapping?
No, sir.
No swapping. So last two elements are
No,
now
sir.
sorted.
Yes, sir.
అర్థమైందా?
Yes sir.
Last two elements are sorted. అప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంది?
Yes sir.
ఎలా ఉంది? The array position after sorting last two elements. This is the position. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Grind up to this. You write it on the paper sheet.
Sir.
of paper. Write the explanation which was discussed so far. Number A7. Unmute yourself and talk to me. A7.
Good morning, sir.
Have you understood?
Yes, sir.
A7.
Hello, sir.
అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
Girl or boy? A7.
Hello, sir. అర్థమైంది సార్.
Hello?
హలో
69.
హలో సార్.
Sir.
Have you understood so far? The explanation was understood by you. అర్థమైందా? 69. Unmute yourself and talk to me.
Fine, sir.
Are you doing the exercise on your paper?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I go for the next step?
Sir.
Now compare 35 with 12. What is the number? Is there any swapping is needed?
Yes sir.
So 12 come here and 35 come here.
Second position.
Next 35 and 45. Is there any swapping?
No, sir.
No. As it is.
No sir.
Now 45 with 5.
Swapping, sir.
So yes, we need to have.
45 fourth position sir.
Okay. Now that's why wherever swapping is needed, I am writing here. Okay. So 5 here, 45 here. The remaining
sir.
numbers as it is. Is there any change?
Yes, sir.
No change. Okay. So what is the position we had after swapping? 12 here, 35 here, 5, 45. Now the third biggest element is 45 only, no?
Yes, sir.
Does it be in its right
Yes, sir.
position
Yes,
or
sir.
not? So after third pass,
That's the right position.
right position. Now we leave these three elements and we only swap between or sort these three elements only. Now just see, when you compare with 12 and 35, 12 remains here and 35 remains no swapping. Okay, but when you do comparison between 35 and 5, ఏం జరగాలి?
Swapping, sir.
Swapping. I insert one
I
more
second
table.
position now.
I insert one more table and let me insert one more table here. Okay. Now 5 comes here and 35 here and remaining positions as it is 45, 77 and 101. Now just check 35 in its right position or not.
Yes, sir.
So all these four elements are sorted. Now
Yes.
what is the aim or what is the purpose of doing Babu sir?
Yes sir.
We are always positioning the maximum number in its right position. అదే చేస్తున్నాం. ఫస్ట్ ఫేజ్ లో 101 కూర్చోబెట్టాం, సెకండ్ ఫేజ్ లో 77, థర్డ్ ఫేజ్ లో 45, and in the fourth phase it is 35. Now, how many elements are to be sorted? How many are remaining? Roll number 44.
2, sir.
Only
2,
2.
sir.
That is, when you compare these two, 12 with 5, the least element comes to the first position, and the biggest element out of those two numbers comes to the second element. Remaining elements are as it is. Now the array is sorted or not?
Sorted, sir.
So this particular array was sorted. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. Now copy all this information on your notebook. Swap చేసుకున్నారు. How to compare? You are supposed to compare with the next element. That means, suppose this is a of k. A of k is compared with a of k plus 1. If a of k is greater than a of k plus 1, then swap. So, how to write? For that, a of k compare with a of k plus 1. If a of k is greater than a of k plus 1, then swap. Okay, so this is the comparisons we made. So a is nothing but an array, and k is the position of the elements. This is, if this is k, and this is k plus 1, k plus 2, k plus 3, k plus 4, and k plus 5. So always we are supposed to compare with a of k with a of k plus 1, and we do it. Is it clear? Have you copied it? A7, have you copied it? Roll number A7. Unmute yourself and tell me. B section, Sandeep. Mr. Sandeep. B section
Sir.
here. E number could raskoya.
Sir.
A7.
Okay, sir.
These people are regular to the classwork when they are in 1-1. A7 regular ga vachuda. Sandeep, ninne
No worries, sir. Regular గానే.
Then where he went, ask him, tell him to call me after 11 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, is this clear? Have you understood? Have you copied it? Have you copied this particular formula? A of k is compared with a of k plus 1. If a of k is greater than a k plus 1, then swap. Otherwise, leave as it is. And now I want to share one more file. We'll go back to our class. So this is what finally what we did. The last value is traverse a collection of elements, move from front to the end, bubble the largest value to the end using pair-based comparisons and swapping. Note down this particular text. The text copy cheyandi.
Sir, screen రాలేదు, sir.
Okay, copy this particular
Yes, sir.
text. Traverse a collection of elements. Bubble up the largest element. Bubble up the largest element. And always we are trying to place the largest element to its appropriate position. That is most important. Mano appropriate position for the largest value is ultimately at the end. Antena? Is it okay? Always our aim is to move the biggest element to the
Yes, sir.
last position. Ade chestunna ikkada.
And
Last question on the end. Okay, you can call it as end also. Copy. Have you copied it?
Yes, sir.
Only the text. Remaining example anyway, I explained.
sir.
Okay. This is in the Java మనం దాంట్లో చూద్దాం. We are supposed to compare it, verify it in the C language. So notice that only the largest value is correctly placed in the first iteration. All the values are still out of order. First pass lo manaki em vachindi, only the largest value is placed in its correct position. So we need to repeat the process. The remaining vatliki we already observed in the word file. No, we did the exercise using word file.
Yes, sir.
So remaining elements the same
Yes,
thing
sir. Yes, sir.
we are supposed to perform. Okay. So repeat how many times? In this suppose we have n number of elements, and if each time we bubble an element, we place in its correct location, then we are supposed to repeat the bubble up process n-1 time. On the side chesar chudandi meer observe cheyandi. You repeatedly compare in the first pass n-1 times, in the second pass n-2 times, in the third pass n-3 times, in the last pass తగ్గించారు. n number is 6, last 2 చేశారు అంతేనా? So that is n-4 times. So n-4 is nothing but 2 times అంతే కదా. లాస్ట్ లో ఒకసారి స్వాప్ చేసుకుంటూ వచ్చారు. That means this guarantees we will correctly place all n elements. Note down this particular text also. The text అంతా కాపీ చేయండి. So we have, suppose we have n number of elements, and if each time we bubble an element, we place in its correct location, then we repeat the bubble up process n-1 times. Okay, this portion is copied. So all the elements are placed here. So in the first pass, we placed 101 in its right position, second 77, then third 42. That table is that particular table is this, and in the fourth iteration, it is 35 comes in its right position, and in the fifth iteration, 12 is placed in its right position, and in the n-1 part, that is the last iteration, 5 is placed. 12 ragana automatically 5 will be placed in its right position. Why? Because only 6 elements are there. So how many times we processed it? n-1 times. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 5 different passes, we found all the elements are in a sorted list. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So reducing the number of comparisons all the time. So initially 6 comparisons lo 5 comparisons cheyagane automatically 101 will be placed in its right position. Tarvata 4 chesaru, tarvata 3 chesaru, tarvata 2 comparisons. So this is what now you are supposed to reduce the number of comparisons after placing each biggest element in its right position. Prati biggest element ni right position ichcheటప్పుడు number of comparisons తగ్గుతున్నాయా లేదా? Initially ఇక్కడ 5 comparisons తో biggest element right position లో ఉంది. తర్వాత ఇక్కడ 4 comparisons తోనే second biggest element. తర్వాత ఇక్కడ 3 comparisons తోనే third biggest element, 2, and here only 1 comparison. Is it clear? So reducing the number of comparisons అనేది ఇదే. Anyway, we are supposed to observe it. ఇదంతా జావాలో రాశాడు, జావా ఇప్పుడు అంతే అవసరం లేదు మీకు. Now we'll come back to the text. Okay. So this is what the bubbles are. Explanation. So bubble sort is a very simple method that sorts the array elements by repeatedly moving the largest element to the highest index position. Can you observe the screen now? Manikanta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Daya? So bigger size chestna. Now I think the screen is visible to you, everybody. So bubble sort is a very simple method that sorts all the data array elements by repeatedly moving the largest element to the highest index position of the array segment. That's what we did in the first pass. Moving the largest element. In that example, the largest element is 101. That we will move to the highest index position of the array segment. Okay. Write the definition. Bubble sort is a very simple method that sorts the array elements by repeatedly moving the largest element to the highest index position of the array segment. Okay? Is that this particular portion is copied? How to do it? While moving the biggest element to the end of the list, what we do is we perform the consequent, we compare the consequent adjacent pairs of the elements in the array are compared with each other. How to move? How to move the biggest element to the end of the array? So we are supposed to compare the adjacent pairs of elements in the array. We compare it with each other. If the element at lower index is greater than the element at the higher index, and lower index is a of k and higher index is a of k plus 1, then these two elements are interchanged so that the element is placed before the bigger one. Small element is supposed to be placed before the bigger element. So this particular process will continue till the list of unsorted elements exhaust. Next, this process of sorting is called bubble sorting because elements bubble to the top of the list. And note that at the end of the first pass, the largest element in the list will be placed at its proper position. That is the end of the list. Is that we've been discussed so far?
Yes, sir.
One sec. Okay. Is this clear to you up to? Have you copied this particular text on your notes? Just go and read. See, when you try to copy the notes, then you will understand in a better way. Why should we insist to copy important topics and because all these issues, once you people are noting on your notes, that means you will have a practice of understanding the element, understanding the concepts. Okay. Next, what is the working methodology? What is the technique that we are supposed to use? In pass 1, we compared A0 with CR.
A1, sir.
We compared A0 with A1, and then A1 is compared with A1 is compared with A2, and A2 is compared with A3, and so on. Finally, if n number of elements in an array, an minus 2 is compared with an minus 1.
An minus 1. Minus 1.
Yes. Pass 1
Yes, sir.
involves n minus 1 comparisons. How many comparisons in pass 1? N minus 1 comparisons. Six different elements are there. 5 comparisons are needed towards placing the biggest element into its right position, that is the end of the array. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then what happens in pass 2? A0 once again, A0 is compared with A1 and A1 is compared with A2, so on till AN minus 3 is supposed to, ఇక్కడ n minus 1, n
AN
minus 2,
minus 3 compared with
AN minus 2. ఎందుకంటే why we are leaving AN minus 1, which is already compared and placed in the right position కాబట్టి AN minus 3 is compared with AN minus 2 and then pass 2 involves n minus 2 comparisons. Previous case lo it is n minus 1 comparisons. Now one element is reduced, so n minus 2 comparisons, and places the second biggest element at the second highest index of the array. Is this clear? Right?
Yes, sir.
Do the same
Yes, sir,
process
yes,
in pass 3. Do the same process. Pass 4. Do the same process. So in pass n minus 1, the A0 will be compared with A1, and so that if A0 is less than A0 అయితే అలాగే వచ్చేయండి. Otherwise A1 is greater than A0 is greater than A1 అయితే go for swap. Now if you observe, after doing all this n minus 1 comparisons, n minus 1 passes, now you can observe all the elements are in a sorted order. అంతేనమ్మా? CRలు,
Yes, sir.
is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. అంతే సార్.
ఇది ఈ టెక్స్ట్ అంతా కాపీ చేయండి. రోల్ నెంబర్ B4. B4. My voice is audible to you now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay, this data is copied and it was understood by you, I think. B4, B5, respond. Roll number B4 and B5. Mr. Sandeep,
Sir.
ఎంత నీ నెంబర్ ఎంతయ్యా?
B4, sir.
Are you understanding what are the topics that are discussed so far?
Yes, sir. Understand.
Now, do you have any clarity about bubble sir?
Yes, sir.
If this particular algorithm is given to you, this example, can you able to sort it? ఇక్కడ highlight చేస్తున్నాను చూడు.
Yes, sir.
There are 7 different 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elements are there in an array that is named A. And can you able to sort all the elements? And what is the, after completing pass 1, what is the biggest element that comes to the end?
87.
87 move to the array position, that is, suppose A1 నుంచి మొదలెడితే A8 లోకి 87 వస్తుంది. అంతేనా?
Yes, sir.
Can you able to work it out on your notes?
Yes, sir.
Take this example and noting and start doing it. How many passes we need to have? Towards sorting all the elements, how many passes we need to have? Any passes కావాలి మనకి? How many elements are there అయ్యా? How many elements are there? B5 మాట్లాడయ్యా? How many elements are there? What is n value? What is n value? N value is 8. Antenna?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many passes we need to have towards sorting all the elements? How many pass?
7.
7 కావాలి. ఎందుకంటే ఇగో ఇక్కడ రాశాను n-1 కనబడుతుందా?
Yes, sir.
n-1 passes we need to sort for n number of elements. So what is the value of n? 8. n-1 pass అంటే ఎంత?
7.
7 passes. After 7 passes are completed by you, you can have all the elements in a sorted order. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do B5 or B4?
B4, sir.
Who is B5? B5, unmute. B5 ఉన్నడా? ఇక్కడ లాగిన్ అయ్యాడా? Number 51.
Absent, sir.
B5 is absent today. Okay. Who is 51? 51. Have you understood? Number 51. Have you understood this? So this is the easiest sorting algorithm. If you understand this, then we are going for some further one that is some more complicated. So better to understand this particular algorithm in a easiest way. Should I explain once again, or have you understood? Roll number 51.
I understood, sir.
51 అర్థమైందమ్మా? గట్టి మాట్లాడతలే.
అర్థమైంది, sir.
Okay, A5. A5.
Sir.
Have you understood this?
Yes, sir.
The algorithm which was discussed today, Babu sir.
Yes, sir.
For n number of elements to be sorted, what are the number of passes that are required?
7 pass.
n elements ki ఎన్ని passes కావాలి సార్ట్ చేయడానికి?
7. n minus 1.
n minus 1 అని చెప్పు n elements అన్నప్పుడు.
n minus 1 pass.
Now copy this example and start doing it. So now only for the first pass I will tell you what happens in the first pass for this particular example. What to do in the what are the first two elements? The first two elements are 30 and 52. So now is there any swapping is required?
No, sir.
30 and 52 swapping ఏమైనా అవసరమా? ఏనా AK equal AK
No,
is
sir.
already less than AK plus 1. No need to swap. So then 52 and 29. Compare the next elements. A5 మాట్లాడాలి. When you compare 52 and 29, swapping is required or not?
Yes, sir. Required.
Why? Because 52 is greater than 29. So
29.
Swap these two elements. So this is what swapping is done and ikkada rasadu. Then interchange new positions of the array is 29 came into the second position and 52 in third position. Now we are comparing 52 and 87. Is there any swapping required?
No, sir.
No swapping. So leave as it is. No swapping is done. Then next compare 87 and 63. Do we need to have a swapping?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is the new position. 63 and 87 are swapped. Then 27, 87 is compared with 27. Do we need to have swapping?
Yes, sir. Swap.
Yes, so 27 swapped and 87 in its new position. Then 87 compared with 19. So 87 is bigger, so swapping is done. So 87 came here and 87 compared with 54. Swapping is to be done. So 87 came into the last position. So observe that after the end of the first pass, the largest element is placed at the highest index of the array or not? Chapale. A5.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now this is the first pass. Now have you noted down this particular example? Idantha copy chesava?
Sir, chesam.
ఇది వర్కౌట్ చేయండి. పాస్ 1 I explained. Now what are the passes? How many passes you have to do? How many passes are more? Number 2, 10. Number 10, unmute yourself and
7, sir.
total number is 7. Now pass 1 is completed. How many more?
6, sir.
6. 6 can you able to do it by yourself?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Okay, do it on your notebook and we'll discuss and we'll observe. You are supposed to show me whenever I ask you to show me your notes. The exercise is supposed to be shown to me. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Can you able to do it by your own? చేయగలమా
sir.
సొంతంగా వితౌట్ అబ్జర్వింగ్ ఎనీ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ చూడకండి.
sir.
ఫస్ట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ బై యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. వన్స్ ఇఫ్ యూ గెట్ ఎనీ పర్టికులర్ డౌట్ దెన్ యూ రిఫర్ ఇన్ ద టెక్స్ట్ బుక్. ఓకే.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So next class, now what is the time? Now it is 10:48. So once you complete, so this pass 2, pass 3, pass 4, everything is there here itself. Yeah. So this is the algorithm which I am supposed to discuss for today. So what are the main important, these are the 2 important steps which we are going to do it as part of your bubble chart. Yes, now we are going for a comparison. If a of j is greater than a of j plus 1, then yes, now swap aj and aj plus 1. Then ak with ak plus 1. That's the only thing is here the notation is aj. They are taking the notation as aj. I took the notation as ak. So that is the only difference. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. So read the content first. Complete in pass 7. You are going to get all the elements are to be sorted. Pass 1 means n minus 1 passes. And as far as the complexity concerned, yeah, this is what I am supposed to discuss once again. F of n equal to, so initial pass is, we are supposed to calculate all the passes. మనకి n minus 1 ఫస్ట్ పాస్ వచ్చిందా? ఫస్ట్ పాస్ n minus 1 కదా. We are supposed to add all the passes n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus n minus 3 till n minus 7. Then n is 1 ఎలా వచ్చింది? How this 1 has come?
N minus 7.
N minus 7. Yes, this 1 is nothing but n minus 7. What is the value of n in the example? 8. So n minus 1 means what is the value we are supposed to have here? 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. We are reducing the value one by one from n. N నుంచి తీసేస్తున్నాం. So f of n equal to a combination of n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus n minus 3 to n minus 7. So f of n equal to, the sum is n into n minus 1 by 2. And it becomes order of n square. So this is the way we are supposed to define the complexity. Read this particular text. The complexity of any particular sorting algorithm depends upon the number of comparisons. In bubble sort, we have seen that there are n minus 1 passes in total. N minus 1 passes again, 7 different passes. Because the n value is 8 covered. In the first pass, n minus 1 comparisons are made to place the highest element in its correct position. Then in this pass 2, there are n minus 2 comparisons, and second highest element is supposed to be placed in its position. Therefore, to compute the complexity of bubble sort, we need to calculate the total number of comparisons, and these are the total number of comparisons. Okay, now copy down this particular complexity of bubble sort. The note chain number 81. Unmute yourself. 81, unmute. క్లాస్ లో ఉన్నావా? ఎక్కడ ఉన్నావా? బయట?
క్లాస్ ఉన్నాను సార్. అక్కడికి ఎగ్జామ్ జరుగుతుంది.
సరే, ఇది వర్కౌట్ చేయి. కాంప్లెక్సిటీ. సో ఫార్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్స్ which we have discussed in the class are understood by you. Hope.
Yes sir.
అర్థమైందమ్మా?
Yes sir.
మీరు సెపరేట్ గా ఒక దగ్గర కూర్చోండి తల్లి. ఒక రూమ్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే better don't sit in the hall. Better to sit in the bedroom or better to sit in the front veranda so that you are not supposed to be get disturbed. Okay?
Okay sir.
ఎప్పుడైనా కానీ treat this is you went for a college and you are there in the classroom. Your sister rooming is supposed to be available in the classroom and you are there in the class.
No sir.
అక్కడ అవైలబిలిటీ ఉండదు కదా. అదే విధంగా ట్రీట్ చేయండి. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే యువర్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ కంప్లీట్లీ విల్ బి ఆన్ ద క్లాస్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. You are supposed to be get benefited out of it if you sit ideal. Okay?
Okay sir.
And you are supposed to work out the example. Exercise చెప్పాను కదా. Have you noted down all this? Unsorted array copy చేసావా?
Yes sir.
make it as sorted. So in the next class, I am supposed to observe and now copy the complexity of bubble sort. ఈ ముక్క అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
So we need to have n-1 passes. n-1 passes ఇక్కడ రాసాం. So that will be order of n square. Order of n square అంటే worst case ఆ best case ఆ? Echo, no more number of comparisons are required for this or not? Next, C naught. Who is C naught?
Hello, sir.
Have you understood?
Sir.
And there.
Yes, sir.
So read once again all the topics. This particular notes are textbook. Already I sent it to you in the form of a PDF. It was available in the Edmodo. Okay, all of you practice it. Okay, can I close the one? CRs?
Sir.
Can I close the class? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Hope everybody understood it. Thank you. Thank you all.